you know, we've been working on this League of Legends drawing for a while, right? This League update, and we're almost done. There was a point when I thought it was done, but then I was just like, okay, there's a couple more things I want to add, and there's a couple more things I want to add. So I'm gonna give you a little background on this drawing. Tim, what's going on? I'm gonna give you a little background on this drawing. And I initially finished it like 2017 time, right? And then I just 2017, and then I was slowly adding champions to it here and there. Um, and I just kind of left it alone for like 4 or 5 years, and now we're updating it, doing all the reworks of all the champions and cleaning up a lot of the old line art, dude. I have double vision right now, so I it's hard for me to like grab the top of this window over here because I think that my cursor is over it, but it's not. This should take a couple hours because I'm also proofreading it while I'm shading. If I was just gonna shotgun shade everything, we'd probably finish it in like 2 hours. Yeah, this will be available at TwitchCon. I don't think I'm gonna have the 24 by 36 in time because I have three sizes. I have the 24, I have the 11 by 17, the 24 by 36, and then the 3 foot by 4 foot. All right, so I have three sizes. For guaranteed, the 11 by 17 will be in hand. I should have the 3 foot by 4 foot, so I have the smallest and the biggest size. All right, so this bottom section of the characters, I'm sure you can tell the difference between, you know, like these characters here, right? Take a look at them versus the quality of the characters, I don't know, like up here. That's because these ones at the bottom were just cleanup jobs from existing drawings, and I didn't feel like completely redrawing them. So I mainly focused on cleaning up the faces, and then like if there were major anatomy issues. So if some of these down here don't look like super awesome, that's why. I didn't want to fucking redraw the entire thing. And when I shade the character, I don't want to zoom all the way in like this and do like all the little fold. No. When you're doing like this really anime style like hard shading, you're gonna zoom out a little bit because this is how the viewer, how the customer is gonna see it. So there's no point. I'm not gonna lie, there's no point in getting any more detailed than how the customer is gonna see it, right? So zoom out about right here because this is what the customer is gonna see. Anything more than this is just like, that's like extra. That's too much. One of the things I had to make sure when I was doing the cleanup job was I had to make sure that I didn't just like, because the urge is to just fucking redraw everybody, right? But I had to fight the urge to turn this into a total redraw, which it borderline became anyway. Because as I saw some of these characters, like the old drawings of them, it was bothering me. I was just like, fuck, some of this is so bad. I remember the old version of this. I was trying to add like textures. I was basically trying to paint, right? When well, back in the day I didn't know how to paint anyway, but I tried. And I think I wanted to do more paint on it instead of just like a flat you know, like cell shade. Was because, you know, I was pretty green back then. I didn't really know what I was doing. I wasn't like I wasn't super duper sure, confident about what I wanted to do, and a lot of the podcasts I was listening to at the time, you know, I was listening to a lot of people who were like, well, yeah, painting is the ultimate thing that you want to do. Like doing like anime cell shading that's cool, but ultimately a real artist does like painting, right? So I was just like, yeah, I got to do that. Now I'm just like, fuck all that, bro. Make a new layer and just make a new layer, drop the opacity. What's a cool shell? Purple. I like purple. How about, I don't know, we don't want to just make it look regular. All right, put the pin light on it. There you go. You're done. After drawing hundreds of characters in many fandoms, how many characters would you say are easy to draw? At which numbers does it become exhausting? Oh, okay. You know what? That's a good question. I think it naturally it depends on the detail, right? Like it takes me like, I'll have to go through like 300 Pokemon before I start getting like, you know, before I want to like kill myself, right? But like League, same thing with like Overwatch, the character's just so much more detailed. I'll give a roundabout number. I say once I get to like 100, 150 characters, then I'm just like questioning my life choices. You don't have the stamina for, I mean, this is a like, let's call it what it is. It is incredibly physically demanding to draw this many hours. I don't care if you're sitting at a desk, I don't care if you're standing, I don't care if you're animating, 3D modeling, anything like that. It does require a lot of physical stamina. And just some people can't, like, physically can't. Like, I have a standing desk. I've been standing for like 12 plus hours a day for like, I don't know, like 2.5 weeks now or some whatever shit. My heels and the balls of my feet are like bruised. I've had to wear compression socks to keep high-rise compression socks to keep like blood flow. I'm wearing my winter like leggings because like my thighs were just from like shifting back and forth for like 12 hours, 14 hours a day. I've like irritated like my thighs. My shoulder is sore from up here. My wrist is fine, but my forearm is like jacked. Like it's fucking tight right now. And yeah, man. I mean, if I was in worse shape, this would be a problem. You just have to be like, do you want to get it done? Basically, like, how bad do you want to get it done? You could apply that to anything in life, really, though, right? But yeah, when I do these projects, you know what it is? There's no part of me when I do these projects, there's no part of me that ever goes like, fuck this, or let's not finish it, I'm tired of this, we're done, and walk away. I don't think that's ever happened to me. There are times when I was just like, fuck this, but like, I don't know about ever saying that I'm done and walking away. Well, I mean, obviously, because I've finished all these big projects that I've started. So for as inconsistent as I am with stuff, and as like jumbly as I can be when it comes to ideas and projects, I do finish every project that I start. It might take me fucking forever to start particular projects, but I do finish them. You got to give me that, right? I do take time for myself and all that, but when it comes time to relax, I relax. Like, I don't like to have my phone with me. Y'all know I fucking hate my phone, right? And the only reason I usually have it with me is so I can play Pokemon. But yeah, when I relax, I'm gone. Like, I'm relaxed. But when it comes time to work, I fucking work. So like, it's easy to look at a project like this and be like, it was fucking nuts. Like, not really, because it really only demanded how many weeks of my life, and then I'm a relax afterwards. So I appreciate everyone who has hung out with me while we worked on this piece. You guys want to know something like real talk? When I do these big projects, before I start one, I like usually have to mentally prepare myself to be like, well, look, this is just going to be life for like a couple of weeks, right? And I just have to be like, okay, look, take a deep breath, just fucking go, and let's get started, right? I foolishly, like, I never fucking learned my lesson. I looked at this and I was just like, there was just a little update. I'm just like, there's not that many. There wasn't that many champions to add. And then I was like, other than that, well, we got a couple of reworks. Yeah, it's not a big deal. And I was like, well, I just need to clean up a little bit of line work. That shouldn't take that long. So, I went into this not having done that mental preparation like I normally do when I do these projects. And I think that's why I'm just so, like, frazzled. Because, like, I'll give you an example. If I'm going to do something where it's going to take, like, 3 weeks, right? 4 weeks, whatever the fuck it takes to finish these projects, a month, 2 months. I'm like, all right, I have to have everything lined up. I need to know there are no cons coming up. Like, I need to... Like, do I have any doctor's appointments? Do I have, like, take my dog to the vet? Like, I line all that stuff up so I'm like, I don't get all frazzled, right? Not this time. I was just like, why am I not done yet? What have I done? So, can you see on this, the right-hand side? You see there's something a little off about it, right? There's just something a little off about, like, the way this part is sitting behind, because, like, where's the head sit? Is the head sitting up in front, behind? It's all kind of just like, yeah. So that has always bothered me. So I went ahead and cleaned it up. So now you could tell that the head is sitting inside of this, right? Instead over here, it looks like it's kind of, you can't really tell, right? It's borderline tangent right there. And uh, and then I extended this side part over here further out, so it allowed me to really put the head inside. That's what she said. Anyway, so it's little adjustments like that. Another thing that I fixed is I had this really scratchy. Thanks for the follow. I had this really scratchy style back in the day. So this is the best example of it. You see those lines right there? For some reason, well, first off, I kept a lot of like structure lines in there. So even with Nautilus's head, you see I have that little circle right here? That's what I like to do like on the top of my object. So for example, like the top of a sphere, I like to put that little circle for me to indicate like where the top of that object is, right? And for some reason, I kept a lot of that scratchy stuff in the drawing. See? But now I've cleaned it up. So you don't see any of that anymore, and it looks just so much cleaner. Plus, I fixed a lot of the colors. I don't know what happened, why some of my colors were off. Okay, another thing that I really needed to fix was like a lot of how would you say, would volume be the right way to explain it? So you look at a lot of like the thicker characters. So like look at him. He's very flat, right? The old version of him is really flat. Like he just looks like, oh, on top of him just looking like poo, right? Like goop. So characters like this, I needed to make sure that like, you know, I wanted to convey that they're thick. Like he looks way thick here compared to here, right? The one on the old one, it almost looks like he's like that shape, right? He just goes up and goes down. But then you look at the new one, so yeah, so that's another thing I had to consider. Oh, here's a good redraw. So these are, I'm just explaining to you guys all the different things that I wanted to fix, that have always bothered me about a lot of these drawings. But you know, back when I first did it, I didn't really have the technical skill to execute on this kind of stuff. But you look at this one. No, I think this is my favorite redraw. And you know what the problem was? Back in the day, I didn't know how to draw animals. I just couldn't. I remember how much I struggled with this originally. Yeah, it's smush. I had no sense of form for animals. But you know, we've done so many studies, and luckily I am really good at drawing pigs now, right? So I just applied the facial structure of a pig, and now it just came out so much better. Yeah. Really. Oh, here. Again, with these cleanup jobs, I was only allotted so much space to work with, right? So here's another one. There you go. See, look at him. See, he's very flat. Like he looks really like flat. Like he looks it's like his nose is like lined up with the front of his chest. It's almost like he's standing like this, right? So what I did was I pushed his head back a little bit and I pushed his chest out further. And then I thickened up his whole body. So now it actually looks like his neck, or what neck he has, because he's so jagged, is more lined up with his spine than to his chest. You know what I mean? So that's one of those things I was just like, fuck, I gotta change all this shit. And if you notice, I'm using a lot more spot blacks, and it's really making the colors pop out. But yeah, so you could see Galio's wings, right? Where like they need to, because it needs to be turned back a little bit, but because I couldn't visualize the structure of it, because like my understanding of like, you know, objects in 3D space probably wasn't that good back then. So now I was able to kind of turn it a lot more, and I get that like narrow angle over here. Well, I mean, like that. I mean, like, look, if you're a digital artist, right? Let's say you are a digital artist and you have all these tools and tricks. Like, again, I fucks with Ross draws. I love his artwork. A lot of the people who emulate his style are relying too much on like, oh man, my stuff looks kind of okay. I'm just gonna like make everything fucking crazy and neon and color dodge everything, and I'm just gonna hide all my. Ross could do that because he's fucking hella good. People who are not good are just hiding stuff behind. You know what I mean? So like, I used to do that. I try not to do that these days. Even my stuff isn't perfect, but like I try not to, because I feel like it develops bad habits. Oh, here's a good one. Again, we're talking about structure and form, right? Well, it's just a thing for me. I don't want to rely on tricks to hide stuff because then I'm never gonna learn. But that's just me. That's another really good rework. Let me zoom in on the face a little bit. This is another one of those cases where it's like less is more. So we're talking about like line econ. And again, when we're gonna get up to the new characters and not because we're still at the area where I'm doing the cleanup job on the old characters. But when we get to the new characters, you'll see what I mean by line economy. Line economy, which I don't think is a real term. It's something I must have heard somewhere or whatever, and now I just use it all the time. Basically means using fewer lines to represent the same amount of like information. So look at his wings, right? Look at that wing right there. Pretty thick looking, but there's not a lot of line work going on there. Let's look at that shit. Look at all that. Fucking nonsense. Anyway, yeah, that was a fun little tour, wasn't it? Talking about all the things. Again, so when I do projects like this where I'm just kind of updating it, I'm not just like, yo, let's make it prettier, let's up the resolution. I think about little things that need to be fixed. Shit that's driving me crazy. Things that, the layman, the non-artist won't even see. But I see everything. Oh, God. All right, so here's another thing. I avoided drawing weapons in the original drawing of this because one, weapons are hard. To this day, they're hard. Very time consuming, and they require a lot of perspective understanding to draw weapons. I see all the new characters. I gave them their weapons because I put them up top. I gave them better poses. I want them to look more dynamic, which will make the overall drawing look more dynamic, right? I'm gonna tell you, man. Drawing these weapons, fucking pain in the ass. I'm sure you could just look at this weapon and be like, fuck all of that. You can have passion for multiple things. You have passion for Project A, you have passion for Project B. However, Project A won't make you money, Project B will. Which one are you gonna pick? You have three things. One you have no passion for, one you have passion for, no money, one you have passion for, yes, money. Clearly the one that you're gonna do is the one that has everything that you want. Well, if I drew just barely, I wouldn't feel like quitting, but you're always pushing myself, even when I don't feel like doing it. That's why I feel like quitting. Okay, well, there's another thing where we talked about this before. There's this other thing where, people think they have art block or whatever, when in reality, you could just be tired. Like, you could just need to go take a nap. Like people, especially, we talked about this, if you don't have a consistent sleep schedule, you don't have a structured diet, even slightly, you're not hydrated, you're not sleeping, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't feel good. Like, no fucking shit. Like, no shit. Like, what do you think? How much sleep you get? An hour. What do you do? I'm drinking a bunch of coffee. Yeah, have you exercised? I ain't seen the sun in like 4 weeks. Like, all right, well, so what's wrong? I got art block. Like, I don't know, man. But yeah, I'm not calling anyone out. Artists are just a fascinating breed of self-centered, self-loathing. Like, you could be self-centered, that's fine. But like self-loathing, I don't know, man. Maybe that's why I don't have artist friends. Like, I can't fucks with y'all, man. Yeah, but like Tim, you say a lot of artists feel like that. So you think it's so from your perspective, you think it's normal. Again, and from my point of view, I think it's something that's learned. Because it's like, just like you said, a lot of artists feel that way, so you think it's normal, so a lot of people think it's okay to feel that way. You know what I mean? Like, then it just becomes this big old cycle. I mean, like, if a bunch of plumbers started walking around being like, bro, fucking, I don't know if I can unclog this sink, man. And everyone walks up to him, put their hand on his shoulder, it's all right, man. None of us could none of us can clean up these sinks. It's all good. you know, a doctor just like, oh man, I can't prescribe somebody this medicine today. His buddy comes up, hey man, you don't have to. Don't worry about it. Can't do that, man. Like, it's your fucking job. Like, well, yeah, it just takes a long time to get good at drawing. But, dude, 100%, it takes fucking so long to get good at drawing. But check this out. You chose to go into this field. You knew that going into this. You still did it. Like, what do you want? What do you want? It's just like... Yo, Shane, thank you for the raid. Welcome everybody. We are really close to finishing this drawing. I'm like zoned out right now. So I thank you. Thank you for coming hanging out with me as we get close to the end. Yeah, this drawing is of all the league champions. I have quite a few of these projects that I've done. Like I have one for Pokemon. We did this a couple of months of, I don't remember when. This I've been, whatever, I'm slurring right now, excuse me. I have one for Marvel vs. Capcom, Rick and Morty, Overwatch, Animal Crossing, and then this is my Dragon Ball one. This is my favorite one that I've done. Took me 1,000 hours to do this one. I vote. This is good. Save. It's fucking done. I appreciate everyone for hanging out with me. Hop into the Discord. All that stuff. We're not gonna raid anybody, yeah. I'll probably tweak with the colors just a little bit, bump the saturation a tiny bit, but otherwise, I'm not really going to change anything else. TwitchCon ready, yeah. No, TwitchCon is happening in 2 weeks. TwitchCon, yeah. Fuck. This is perfect for TwitchCon. This is the most my hand, not my wrist, my hand and my my muscles in my forearm are fucked up. All right, guys, I appreciate you. No, I'll get my prints in time. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me so much. That's it. I got no punchline. Just thank you guys. I'm glad you like how this came out. You ain't gonna see my ass for like 2 days. Okay, guys, thank you. Peace out.